In this video, I would like to show you how to make the graph for your data from the lichen study. If you look at the analysis section of the lichen study, it is asking you in number 4 here to create a graph comparing the average percent coverages of your locations. You have to have axis labels and a caption. You studied 2 different sites and you measured the different types of lichen, moss, and bare surface. Here is a data set that I just made up, the numbers, so I can show you how to do it. So these are not real numbers, but we have our 2 sites. So we went through all the different collections. We calculated the average percent coverage for the 2 different locations for each of these different types. To make our graph, I'm just going to highlight all of my data here. I just have a total down here of 100 to show you that because these are percent coverages, this really needs to add up to 100. You had one of these 5 things in each of those quadrants. So that was just to verify that yes, my numbers look good. So I'm going to highlight all of the data, not the hundreds there, because I don't want it to plot that. And I'm going to do an insert, and I'm going to do a bar chart here. I'm going to select the first one. It's showing me the percent coverage of these different types for site A in blue and for site B in orange. It also wants me to include axis labels. So what I'm going to do over here is I'm going to add a chart element. I'm going to add an axis title for the vertical. This is looking at percent coverage. I'm going to get rid of my chart title. As we've said before, we don't typically see those in publications. So I've got labels on the axes. This is just looking at the type, so it's already labeled. It's also asking you for a figure caption. So probably the easiest way to do this would be to take your graph. If I've got this highlighted all the way around here, you can see I can do a Control-C. I can open a Word document, and then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to paste in my graph. I highlighted it in Excel. I did a Control-C. I came over to Word. I did a Control-V. For your figure caption, you want to say figure 1 if this is your first figure, and then you're going to describe what's going on here. So comparison of types of lichen, moss, and bare rock from 2 locations. And then what you might do here is also describe what those locations were. So you could tell me that, site A, and then just maybe describe site A, and then site B, and describe site B. Now when your reader is looking at this, they can understand a lot of what's going on in your graph without having to go back to your methods or back to other parts of a paper. They can see exactly what's happening here. So we're learning how to include the graphs. We're also learning how to properly format figure captions on our graphs so that it makes it easier for the reader to interpret the information they're seeing in the graph. So that's how you will include that into your assignment. So you want to hand this in as a part of your Word document, not as an Excel file and then your answers to your questions. So hand in one document. Now it can be a Word doc, it could also be a PDF, as long as it's all in one document. If you have any questions about how to do these graphs, please let me know.